let you know when we're live again.
Okay, thanks.
Right, we're live and streaming now.
Okay, thank you. We're just coming back out of a private meeting. We've had quite a lengthy discussion on the current state, which needs to remain in a private environment at the moment. So I'm going to move on to item 7, which is a Community Environment Partnership Work Programme. So I've got a couple of updates to make. Still got a few minutes, haven't we? So the first one is on Winklebury Football Club. This is a statement made from our officers. On the 16th of October 2020, the Winklebury Stadium was approved by the FA ground grading D status, following improvements works undertaken by the council. The facility improvements will provide an opportunity for any Basingstoke Football Club with the ambition to play at Step 4 football level or Level 4 football to remain within Basingstoke, and these improvements have also allowed Basingstoke Town Community Football Club to return to playing in the borough. Basingstoke Town Community Football Club played the first home game at Winklebury Stadium on the 24th of October, with the move to the facility welcomed by the club and by fans who are pleased to be back in Basingstoke. Any future exclusive Basingstoke Town Community Football Club facilities will be linked to a mitigation proposal as part of the planning process for any possible development of the Camrose facility. The council has appointed an independent consultant to conduct the next Basingstoke and Dean leisure and recreational needs assessment. This assessment establishes the borough's future approach to open space, sport and recreation, and is key to the continued provision of high quality facilities to support health and activity and active communities. As part of this work, Continuum Leisure Limited will consult all key stakeholders and clubs to establish an evidence of need that will allow the council to identify a strategy for how those needs will be met. Consultation with Sports England, national governing bodies, parish councils and community centres is now underway, with consultation with clubs across Basingstoke and Dean to begin in January 2021. Continuum will be consulting councillors as part of this work in early 2021. The Football Foundation Club Football Facility Plan, LFFP, has been approved and can be viewed on the Football Foundation website. The LFFP will in effect be the go-to document for football facility investment in Basingstoke and Dean. Whilst it identifies priority projects for potential investment, it does not guarantee the success of future funding applications. Each project must still follow an application process to show how it will deliver key participation outcomes, become a quality and sustainable facility, and demonstrate suitable match funding. When a project is in a position to proceed, the Football Foundation will determine a suitable timeframe to submit a grant application, and pre-application support will be provided by Hampshire FA and the Football Foundation. Officers will continue to work with all sports clubs to support them with the needs in order to ensure that residents have best possible access to excellent sports and leisure facilities. So I will ensure that that is circulated to the committee after the meeting. I have a second statement, and this is to do with the response to Councillor Taylor's CEP work programme suggestion. So the suggestion, the suggestion was to review the elements of the waste service that relates specifically to the replacement of wheelie bins and glass recycling bins, to identify demand for service that in particular to identify the number of replacement bins stroke boxes required, the reason for replacement, disputed reasons for responsibility for damage, and whether the need stroke requests for replacement bins have increased over time. Additionally, value of income derived through charges, how many received discounted charges as a result of being in receipt of benefits, and the cost of obtaining payment. The response I'll read out now is from Councillor Hayley Eaches, who is the Cabinet Member for Regulatory Services and the Environment. The Council reviewed its policy for replacement bins in 2015. When the current charging structure for bins was agreed, together with a reduction in the standard bin size for residential waste bins from 240 litres to 140 litres. The Council policy with regard to bin ownership is that bins belonging to property holder and the property holder is responsible for maintenance and replacement of the bins that are damaged unless they fall back into the back of the lorry whilst being emptied, in which case the contractor will fund the replacement. The Council's agreed fees and charges include a charge for new replacement black residual waste bins and glass bins. No charge is made for replacement recycling bins and glass crates. Residents can also request an additional recycling bin and glass crates. Glass bins are available at a cost. A large proportion of residents' waste bins are now in excess of 20 years old, and an increasing number of these are starting to fail and are needing replacement, as the plastic from which they are made becomes brittle with age. The guaranteed life of a bin is approximately 7 to 10 years. A preliminary aim of the Council's bin replacement and charging policy is to promote recycling, and there are no proposals to change the focus. Revised charges have been brought forward within the proposed budget for 2021 to 2022 to align charges insofar as possible across the contract, with the increase from £28.15 to £48 for a 140 litre and £29.17 to £69 for 240 litre respectively for black residual waste bins, and an increase from £28.15 to £34 for the 140 litre glass bins. In the longer term, the Council is working with Hampshire County Council and other district authorities as part of the Project Integra partnership to understand the implications of the forthcoming resources and waste strategy for England on predictions of how this might impact on the types and the qualities of materials in the waste streams and the way in which these will be collected. In the spring of 2020, faced with unprecedented challenges of COVID-19, the decision was taken to suspend the bin delivery service to protect other key waste services. Therefore, replacement bins were not provided during the period 19th of March to 15th of June. This generated a backlog of deliveries which took time to clear when the service recommenced in the summer of 2020 and led to a drop in performance of the service. In the 12 months to December 2020, nearly 10,000 bin containers, including garden waste subscription services, have been delivered. I am pleased to report that it has been possible to maintain the bin delivery service during the second most recent lockdown, and that bin deliveries are now being completed within the agreed pandemic response 20-day timescale. Looking to the future, it is expected that service performance will be maintained over the coming months, and officers are working closely with Serco on the delivery of improvements to this. Officers have confirmed that further information would need to be collected to determine the number of requests receive discounted charges as a result of being in receipt of benefits and the cost of obtaining payment. The holiday period is one of the busiest times for waste and recycling services. Officers are fully engaged in preparation for this. I would therefore recommend the work required to calculate the number be undertaken in February and the number be brought back to committee in March 2021 by way of an update from the chair, having consulted me once the Christmas and New Year periods have passed. And I can hand that on to all councillors. Does anybody have any questions on that, on either of those? Councillor Taylor.
Thank you, Chair. I put forward a work request for this committee to review a whole section of our policy for its credibility with our residents and its efficiency and effectiveness. And that is what I would like to have. I put forward that, and I would like to see that as part of the work programme. I didn't ask for a statement on all manner of other things. I specifically wanted this to be done. Are we saying that I can't do this, but we can't put this on the work schedule? What are we saying?
To be honest, you filled in the form and you've asked a question. Whether that question's been understood, but you certainly got an answer. I guess if you're not happy with that answer, then without asking any officers, because I don't think there's anybody left here now, but I guess the best way is to approach it is to do another work form.
I've done one. Well, with respect, I've done one, and you know, I was sort of pretty clear in the last meeting, and also I was very clear in correspondence when I was told that, you know, or there'd be a statement, and I asked specifically to know what that would be and whether or not there were going to be any issues about this going forward, because otherwise I would explore other ways of ensuring that we could undertake this review, including putting a motion to full council. And I made that request for that information on the 1st of November. That's 16 days ago. And I have now essentially been robbed of the opportunity to have put a motion on this to full council. And I'm not happy. And it's really for this committee to decide what goes on our work programme. And I would like to see this on our work programme.
Councillor Jones, I see you nodding. Would you like to comment on that? You're on mute at the moment.
Well, I had to apologise. I lost my internet earlier, so I'm back in. But yeah, it's quite straightforward. We're here to look at these things, and to my mind, that's what that statement does is what it usually does. That's what these people are signed up for, and the portfolio holder. That's all they're telling us. We're not happy with the way the service is being run. My residents aren't. I think Brighton Hills residents, Councillor Taylor's residents aren't happy. Southam residents aren't happy. We need to look at it. It doesn't work, is the truth. We can tie it up whichever way we like. We should be looking at it. There's certain things that are good, obviously, but some things don't work. And if you want to go back in time, those grey bins were part and parcel of the deal given to the residents, which were owned by Basingstoke and Dean, not by the residents. And that was suddenly passed over a few years ago. And if you look at my bins out there, if you look at the top of your bin, especially the older ones, it'll have Basingstoke and Dean on it. And I'll be honest, I get so frustrated with this waste collection. When we were looking for a new contract, we got fobbed off. We've actually given money to Serco because of COVID, and we could have spent that money perhaps giving people free bins, especially those on benefits. So I'd like to look at this whole thing again, not as a subcommittee, but as a whole committee. And if we do have to divide into a subcommittee, we can do that. But we need to let the public know what's going on because they're not happy. Thank you.
I have Councillor Tilbury and then Councillor Regan.
Yeah, oh, sorry. Sorry, oh, that's it. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I mean, I agree. Councillor Taylor put this forward. We were asked to put things forward. She's done that. She's put forward a very good case. We have got problems. I mean, Councillor Jones has made the point about the bins. I mean, my bin not only says Basingstoke and Dean on it, it says made in Basingstoke. It was made at the old SSI factory up on the next to the old Victoria site next to Eli Lilly's. So it was not only made in Britain, it was made in Basingstoke. The new one I got was made in blooming Germany. You know, that's why they cost so much. No wonder they're shipping. You imagine how much it costs to ship wheelie bins from Germany. Yeah, it's absolutely farcical. I've actually had 3 green glass bins since they brought in. 2 of them smashed up by the bin men, and the last one went on holiday in the back of the truck the other week because my neighbours just happened. I came home and it disappeared. That my neighbour said, yeah, they threw it in the back of the truck. They went to throw the glass in, obviously let go, and I suppose they're not allowed to go and pick them out. It's obviously potentially very unsafe, but that's the reality. I got a new one, but that's the 3rd glass bin I've had. I mean, how much do they? They're not cheap, And again, the other point, Councillor Jones made, what point did this suddenly become my property? It's the council's bin, not mine. I don't want it, and I certainly don't want to dispose of it if it falls to pieces. So, all these things have been imposed on us and changed. And I know they're charging new households. They're making either the developer often pays for them there, but existing households, this council changed the system from black bin bags to from metal bins to bin bags to the larger bins, because it was easier for them to collect, and suddenly it's our problem as residents, and then you've got to pay a load of money to replace it, which again is probably, I live in the country, so I've got a big drive, so our bins tend to get grouped together, and they generally go back in roughly the right area. But I know what it's like in the town. You go to those big Radburn estates, you put your bin out, you may never see it again. It doesn't matter how big the numbers are on there. This is something we need to understand. We don't need to be patronised by Haley. It's quite insulting, really. You ask us to put these things forward, and Kim's done that, and you just get to basically saying, "Don't bother me, and I'll give you another update in a few months' time." It's atrocious.
Councillor Regan.
Yeah, just backing up what the last 3 speakers have said. Actually, it's quite outrageous that this wasn't put in the right work programme. It was clearly submitted, and for us, the cabinet members, just to give a statement, which seems to be a way of being beyond criticism for the bin service. So it's about time that this committee's here, scrutiny committee, should look at it. Thank you.
Councillor Vaux.
Thank you, Chair. I think the form is ambiguous. I think it's easy to misunderstand what the request is, because this work programme suggestion form appears to me to be, sometimes it could just be a question that's being put in and soliciting a response. Sometimes it's, can you put it on the agenda? It seems to be ambiguous, having just scanned the whole thing. So, to be fair, what I think has happened is Councillor Taylor has put this in with an objective, I think, to have a task and finish group. I'm not sure about that, but no, I'm not quite sure. And I think Councillor Eaches has replied thinking it's a question. So I think for me, it would be helpful to understand what Councillor Taylor would like to see happen. And then we as a committee should be able to decide what we think is an appropriate way forward.
Before I come back to Councillor Taylor, can I just ask Councillor Jones to comment?
Actually, if you remember, I don't know whether you was chair at the time, but I've been on this committee quite a while, and I tried to put something forward years ago. Oh, we have to fill in a form. I'm not being funny. I thought it was blooming hilarious, because you got officers taking notes the same as everybody else, and if the committee agreed to actually take something forward, what the hell you filling in a form for, which can be, if take it at face value, can be misunderstood. But if you say it face to face, as I'm saying, as we've said it to you tonight, Mr. Chairman, you know where we're coming from. You know exactly where we're coming from. We're here to, in my view, to scrutinise, not to run people down, but to scrutinise what's actually happening. Is it a good service? Is it a bad service? There's a lot I don't like about the service. There's bits I do like about the service, but we seem to be following the tail of heart, if I'm honest with you. But that's another subject. But I think you get the gist. And perhaps we should be able to say in this committee, I wish this to go forward when we're in here, without filling out a form. See, that's more blooming paperwork, takes more time. In my view, it's absolute nonsense. It's just like emails. Emails are good, but phone calls are quicker. Thank you.
We're on 9:30 at the moment, so I think I need to ask you, are you all prepared to carry on for a bit? No objections? So if I go back to Councillor Taylor, obviously you filled this form in, you're not happy with the response. How do you suggest, would you like to proceed with this? Sorry, Councillor Taylor, you're on mute.
I'd like us to do what I was hoping to do. I mean, the form has limitations, but you can only fill out the form as it is before you. And that is that we undertake a review as a committee of this particular policy and how it is working for the residents. And in the process of looking at that review, I was setting out what I felt would be the information and the data that we would need to see in order to have that kind of discussion and consideration of the topic.
Okay, so can I assume, or can I make the statement that you feel that this form is still live, still current, but answered, and we want to get Councillor Eaches into the CEP for further discussion? Absolutely,
and I think that it would be really useful if we had the information beforehand. That would be useful to be able to do that. I mean, the other alternative is, if I'd known that this was what was going to happen, I'd have put a motion before full council to deal with it that way, to send it back here. But so yeah, I would like to do that, and I think we can, we ought to be capable of having all the information beforehand when we meet to discuss it.
Okay, Councillor Mahaffey.
I think just to defend Councillor Aegis, obviously she's not here, but this form does seem to be a little bit ambiguous, and I think, I could be wrong, but I believe the paper was submitted as an update, a verbal update, rather than a full report. Maybe it got lost in communication, I don't know, but I don't think this was designed as a fob-off report. It was really just designed as, this is what's happening, this is an update, and hopefully more will come, but like I say, I don't think it was ever designed as the end report in itself.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to start challenging your wording, Councillor Taylor. It's obviously not. It's not provided the information you wanted, or it's not provided the service you wanted. So, would everybody be happy that I call this into CEP, or call further discussion into CEP for an actual face-to-face? Does anyone have any objections against that? Okay.
Chairman.
Yeah, sure.
On that, we don't just need a face-to-face with the portfolio holder. We need papers to go with it, the briefings and that from the officers. It's not a one-sided thing. We need information as well. Can we make sure we have that information?
I'm sure that'll get picked up by Democratic Service. We'll make that point. Shall I go on to the next subject, or has everyone finished on this? Okay. So the committee has discussed the update and made a number of comments to, well, not to officers, sorry, on the wrong thing. So the committee is asked to note this work review and work programme, and to receive updates from lead members and task and finish group. Right, sorry. So I'll just go on to the Community Environment Partnerships Committee work programme. So obviously we've just done the update on the ice rink and the Hampshire Together. The next meeting we have is on the 20th of January. And at the moment I've got another update on the ice rink and an update on Be Love Festival. Obviously that didn't take place, so I'm not sure what's going to happen there. But possibly, I guess, any potential for it to be in 2021 or 2022. Anyway, there's an update there. The next meeting we've got is the 17th of March. and again, update on the ice rink. I'll have a chat with officers regarding the bins, and we'll try and get that fitted in somewhere as soon as possible. If anybody else has got anything they want to discuss in CEP, please fill in the form. I'm sorry about that, Councillor Jones, but that's the current practice, so we need to follow that. So, do you want to add anything, Councillor Jones?
Yeah, no, it's just when we was having the debate about the hospital, it came up about that doctor coming to our committee, was it not? Can we chase that one up?
Yeah, well, we can chase that up.
I did write it down. I thought we said January, but I can't honestly remember. Because we've got an outstanding thing in our works programme for the CCG to meet us. And
Yeah.
that was a thing, and nothing's happened obviously because of COVID, but I do believe we need to start pushing some of this stuff along. Now, if we need a special meeting just for that, I'd as a whole committee, that would be fine by me. I don't know whether it would everybody else, or get the subcommittee or whatever they call them, these maps together where we can meet. Because we haven't met for nearly a year, I would imagine, on this, and it's not going to go away. We need to really get something done on it, and I hope he is going to come to talk to us. But if it's January, we haven't got a meeting in January, have we? So
yeah, we have.
We have. Can I just ask you, can you confirm to us that is at some stage that he's coming? If not, can we make arrangements for a special meeting? So I believe people out there need to, things that aren't right at the moment with our GP surgery, especially our part of the town, south of the town, where they've had this merger and God knows what else. It's just not working. We really need to get to the bottom of it, if that's okay.
Yeah, no worries. I can put that forward. I did think that rural policing as well. That's the other thing that is a hot topic at the moment, certainly in my ward. So I might fill the form in for that as well. So I'll try and get that on the agenda.
Okay.
So the current planned working groups, obviously we just discussed the CCG task and finish group. It's ongoing. I mean, we've not had any updates on it, so that'll go back on the list, but we'll try and get something moving on that. Recycling from flats, apartments, task and finish group. So this was to review and ensure that steps are taken to improve the recycling rate from its current levels and investigate the barriers to maximising recycling potential from flats and apartment blocks. So the Assistant Democratic Service Officer has contacted the portfolio holder to confirm when the first meeting can be held. So there is some movement on that. The next one was libraries, and that was to identify the use of libraries and other community facilities for activities they are not currently used for, such as remote working, health, education, outreach, and identifying suitable partners to help bring this about. Support local community groups to consider whether business cases could be put forward to acquire the venues. So the update is the Assistant Document Service Officer has circulated a list of potential dates for first meeting of the group. And that's it. So unless anyone's got any further comments, Councillor Taylor, I see your hands up. And you're on mute. Councillor Taylor, you're on mute. I'm not sure.
Oh, sorry. I'm obviously having my IT is clearly tired, just like I am. I'm jumping the gun a bit because Councillor Vo was before me. If you, she had her hand up before I did, but it's probably on the task and finish.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Taylor. That's very considerate of you. Yes, the point I want to make, Chair, is that the CCG task and finish group is so old now. The whole CCG world has moved on. I don't think we will ever get any further answers from the CCG. And I think perhaps we should be asking Councillor Bound whether there is any point in continuing with that task and finish group. And if we wish to have something about the CCGs, we should reframe it. I think that's one point. And then on the other, the recycling and flat in flats and apartments, this we were supposed to re-meet because there was a programme of work underway. We haven't heard anything further about it at all. I mean, I'm on that task and finish group, and what's the best way for us to find out what's happening with that program of work? Should we be, as members of the task and finish group, should we be approaching the cabinet member, or what's the best way to get it resurrected?
Yeah, sure. Councillor Cousins, I see your hands up. Is it something to do with Councillor Vaux?
Yes, so specifically on that last one, between myself and Democratic Services, we have approached the cabinet holder because she mentioned in a previous meeting of CEP that there was stuff going on and perhaps we should reconvene. We followed up on that, and to my knowledge, we haven't had a response yet.
Okay, so this is another topic we can add to the topic conversation regarding bins, I guess. Yeah, so anyway, I'll put that forward. Anybody else got any questions? Well, thank you everybody for coming tonight. It's been a long one, but I think we've certainly made progress on the ice rink, or we certainly made a lot of discussion topics on the ice rink, and I think we're a lot clearer where we are with that situation. Can I just wish you all an happy Christmas and a Merry New Year, and thank you. And